Montana. In the heart of America lies a place so vast, so wild, and so untouched that it feels like stepping into another world, not a state, a place where grizzly bears still outnumber people in some regions, where entire towns disappear under snow for months, and where the horizon stretches so far it almost feels unreal. This is a land where you can drive for hours and see nothing but mountains, forests, and sky, no billboards, no traffic lights, no noise, just silence. But here's the mystery. How did one of the most beautiful places in North America remain so empty, even in the 21st century? And why do those who come here often say they can never truly leave it behind? To understand that, we have to go back, far beyond the postcard views, beyond the national parks into the story of a land shaped by ice, fire, war, gold, and survival. Because Montana is not just a place on a map, it is a feeling, a frontier that never really ended. Montana is located in the northwestern region of the United States, bordering Canada to the north. It is the fourth largest state in America by area, yet one of the least populated. That contrast alone tells you everything you need to know. This is a land of extremes, towering mountain ranges, endless plains, deep river valleys, and skies so wide they seem to bend the earth itself. Montana is famous for its raw natural beauty, especially places like Glacier National Park and Yellowstone's northern reaches. Millions visit each year not to find cities, but to escape them. People come here seeking something rare in modern life: silence, space, and scale. But Montana's story is not just about landscapes. It is about survival, identity, and a deep connection between people and wilderness that still defines the state today. To understand Montana, we must go back long before highways, tourism, or even the idea of a state existed. Long before Montana had a name. It was home to indigenous nations who lived in harmony with its land for thousands of years. Tribes such as the Crow, Blackfeet, Salish, Kootenai, and Assiniboine built rich cultures deeply tied to the rhythms of nature. They followed buffalo herds across the plains, built seasonal camps, and developed traditions rooted in respect for the land. Then came the 18th and 19th centuries, when European explorers and fur traders entered the region. The land, once governed by natural cycles and indigenous stewardship, became part of global trade routes driven by beaver pelts and expansion. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 marked a turning point. Suddenly, this vast territory became part of the United States, though much of it remained unmapped, unexplored, and unconquered. In the mid-1800s, everything changed again. Gold was discovered, and Montana transformed almost overnight. Mining towns erupted across the landscape. Places like Virginia City and Helena grew rapidly as fortune seekers flooded in. Boom towns appeared and vanished in a matter of years. Wealth was made and lost in the same season, but with growth came conflict. Indigenous nations were pushed off their lands through broken treaties and military confrontations. One of the most significant events in this era was the Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876, a defining moment in American frontier history. By 1889, Montana officially became the 41st state of the United States. But even then, it never fully surrendered its wild identity. Because while cities developed, the mountains and plains remained largely unchanged, silent witnesses to everything that came and went. To understand Montana is to understand scale. This is a state defined not by what is built, but by what remains untouched. In the west, the Rocky Mountains rise dramatically, carving sharp peaks and deep valleys. Snow clings to the summits even in summer, feeding rivers that run cold and clear. In the east, the land transforms into sweeping plains, open, golden, and seemingly endless. This contrast is one of Montana's defining features, two worlds within a single state. Major rivers like the Missouri River and the Yellowstone River cut through the land, shaping ecosystems and guiding human settlement for centuries. Montana also holds a portion of two of America's most iconic natural wonders, Glacier National Park in the north and Yellowstone National Park in the south. The climate is just as dramatic as the terrain. Winters are long, cold, and heavy with snow, especially in mountain regions. Temperatures can drop far below freezing, turning entire land. Despite its massive size, Montana has one of the lowest population densities in the United States. Most of its population is concentrated in small cities like Billings, Missoula, Bozeman, and Great Falls. Yet even these cities feel more like large towns compared to major metropolitan areas elsewhere in the country. The culture here is shaped by independence. People in Montana are known for self-reliance, outdoor living, and a deep respect for nature. Hunting, fishing, hiking, and ranching are not hobbies. They are part of daily life. English is the dominant language, but cultural influences from indigenous communities remain strong. especially in art, storytelling, and place names. There is also a growing diversity in Montana today, driven by new residents moving in for education, remote work, and lifestyle changes. But no matter who arrives, Montana has a way of shaping people slowly, teaching them patience, humility, and awareness of nature's power. Before modern industries, Montana's economy was built on three pillars: mining, agriculture, and railroads. Gold and silver once drove entire towns into existence. Ranching later became the backbone of rural life, and railroads connected remote regions to the rest of the country, changing everything about how people lived and worked. But that transformation is only the beginning, because Montana's modern economy tells a very different story. One shaped by technology, tourism, and a new generation seeking life closer to nature. Montana's economy today is no longer just about gold rush dreams or frontier survival. It has evolved into something more layered, more modern, yet still deeply tied to the land. Tourism is now one of the strongest economic forces. Millions arrive every year to experience places like Glacier National Park and Yellowstone's northern corridors. Entire towns quietly depend on this seasonal wave of visitors, hotels, guides, outfitters, and small family-run businesses that thrive during the short summer window. But beneath the tourism industry lies another powerful shift. In cities like Bozeman and Missoula, a growing tech and startup culture is emerging. Remote workers, drawn by open landscapes and lower population density, are reshaping housing markets and local economies. High-speed internet has replaced railroad tracks as the new connector to opportunity. Agriculture, however, remains the backbone. Cattle ranching stretches across vast plains, continuing traditions that go back over a century. Wheat, barley, and hay fields define rural Montana, where farming is not just an industry, but a way of life passed through generations. Energy production also plays a role. Oil, natural gas, and renewable wind power contribute to the state's income, reflecting a balance between old and new. Yet despite these changes, Montana resists full transformation. It still feels like a place where nature sets the rules first and everything else adapts around it. Few places on Earth feel as visually dramatic as Montana's landmarks. At the top is Glacier National Park. Known as the crown of the continent, Glacier is a world carved by ancient ice. Towering peaks, turquoise lakes, and over 700 miles of hiking trails create a landscape that feels almost prehistoric. The famous Going to the Sun Road cuts through cliffs and valleys, offering views that seem too perfect to be real. Then there is the northern gateway to Yellowstone National Park, which extends into Montana. Here, geothermal forces shape the earth itself, hot springs, geysers, and steaming landscapes that remind visitors the planet is alive beneath their feet. In the capital city, Helena, the Montana state capital, stands as a symbol of political history and frontier governance, its dome watching over a state that has always balanced independence with structure and in Butte. The Berkeley Pit tells a different kind of story, a massive former open-pit copper mine now filled with acidic water, standing as a haunting reminder of industrial ambition and environmental cost. Each landmark tells a different version of Montana. One of beauty, one of power, and one of consequence. Beyond the famous parks and postcard views, Montana hides places that feel almost undiscovered. The Beartooth Highway is one of the most breathtaking drives in America, winding through alpine plateaus and snow-covered peaks. It feels like driving across the roof of the world. The small town of Red Lodge sits quietly at its base, a gateway that feels frozen in time. Then there is Virginia City, a preserved gold rush town where wooden sidewalks and old saloons still stand, offering a glimpse into the 1800s. In the western valleys, places like Seeley Lake and Flathead Lake offer quiet beauty without crowds, calm waters reflecting endless skies. Even Montana's open roads can feel like hidden gems, long stretches of highway with no traffic lights, no buildings, just horizon after horizon. In a world that rarely pauses, Montana still knows how to stay still. Tourism in Montana is not about amusement parks or skyscrapers. It is about immersion. Visitors come to hike through Glacier National Park, to drive through Yellowstone's northern edges, and to witness wildlife in its natural form. Bison crossing roads, elk moving through forests, and eagles circling above mountain ridges. Flathead Lake, the largest natural freshwater lake west of the Mississippi, offers boating, fishing, and quiet shoreline towns. Bozeman has become a cultural hub, blending outdoor adventure with modern cafes, museums, and mountain views. Missoula brings a more artistic energy, with music, literature, and a strong university presence shaping its identity. Every attraction in Montana feels less like entertainment and more like participation in something larger than yourself. Montana's food culture is rooted in simplicity, strength, and local sourcing. Beef is central. Ranch-to-table cuisine defines many restaurants where steaks are not just meals but reflections of the state's agricultural backbone. Huckleberries are another Montana treasure, wild berries found in the mountains, used in pies, jams, ice cream, and sauces. Their flavor is both sweet and slightly tart, and they have become a symbol of local identity. Game meat such as elk and bison also appears on menus, connecting modern dining to frontier traditions. Small-town diners serve hearty breakfasts, eggs, potatoes, biscuits, and coffee strong enough to match the cold mornings. Food in Montana is not about complexity, it is about honesty. Getting around Montana is an experience shaped by distance. There is no dense metro system here. Instead, highways stretch across enormous landscapes, connecting towns that may be hours apart. Major airports like Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport and Billings Logan International Airport serve as entry points for travelers. Driving is the primary way to explore the state. Roads often pass through mountain ranges, open plains, and national forests, making even simple travel visually unforgettable. In winter, transportation becomes more challenging. Snowstorms can close roads and long distances require preparation. But for many, the journey itself is part of Montana's appeal. Because here, travel is not rushed, it is absorbed. Montana's education system is anchored by public institutions that serve both urban and rural communities. University of Montana in Missoula is known for programs in environmental studies, journalism, and wildlife biology. It plays a major role in shaping the cultural identity of Western Montana. Montana State University is another key institution, especially strong in engineering, agriculture, and research connected to natural sciences. These universities are not just academic centers, they are deeply connected to the land around them, often working on conservation, climate research, and rural development. Sports in Montana are less about professional stadium culture and more about outdoor tradition. Hunting, fishing, skiing, and hiking are part of everyday life. College sports, especially football and basketball, bring communities together in cities like Bozeman and Missoula. Winter sports are especially important. Ski resorts such as Big Sky attract athletes and tourists from around the world, turning Montana's mountains into seasonal playgrounds. But even here, sports feel different. They are not just competition, they are connection to nature. Montana's festivals reflect its culture of community and tradition. Rodeos are among the most iconic events, celebrating ranching heritage with bull riding, horse events, and parades. Summer fairs bring together agriculture, music, and food, showcasing the state's rural identity. Music festivals in cities like Missoula and Bozeman attract indie artists and outdoor audiences, blending culture with landscape. Winter festivals celebrate snow, skiing, and holiday traditions in mountain towns. Each festival feels local, personal, and deeply tied to place. Life in Montana comes with a paradox. On one hand, it offers space, silence, and natural beauty that feels priceless. On the other hand, that same beauty is driving change in the cost of living. Housing prices in cities like Bozeman and Missoula have risen sharply in recent years, especially as remote workers and newcomers arrive seeking a quieter lifestyle. In smaller towns, homes are still more affordable, but availability can be limited. Everyday expenses like groceries and utilities are close to the national average, but transportation costs are often higher due to long travel distances between towns. Salaries vary widely. Agriculture, tourism, healthcare, and education remain key employment sectors, while tech and remote work are growing fast in urban pockets. Montana does not offer the fastest path to wealth, but it offers something different: space to live slowly and time to think clearly. Montana is not a single lifestyle, it is many different worlds within one state. Bozeman stands out as one of the fastest growing cities. It blends mountain living with modern infrastructure, attracting professionals, students, and outdoor enthusiasts. Missoula offers a more artistic and laid-back atmosphere, shaped by its university culture and river valley setting. Billings is the largest city and serves as an economic hub, offering more urban amenities while still staying connected to the surrounding plains. Smaller towns like Livingston, Whitefish, and Kalispell provide a quieter, more intimate way of life, often surrounded by stunning natural scenery. Each place offers a different version of Montana, but all share the same foundation: closeness to nature. Montana is widely considered one of the safer states in the United States, especially in rural areas and small towns. Violent crime rates are generally lower than national averages, particularly outside major urban centers. However, safety here is not only about crime, it is also about nature. Wildlife encounters with bears, moose, and mountain lions require awareness and respect. Harsh winter conditions can also become dangerous for unprepared travelers. Some remote areas demand caution, simply due to distance from medical services or emergency help. In Montana, safety is not just a statistic, it is a skill. Learning how to live responsibly within a powerful natural environment. The best time to visit Montana is between late spring and early fall. Summer offers the most accessible roads, open trails, and wildlife activity. Winter, however, transforms the state into a snowy wilderness ideal for skiing and solitude seekers. Travelers should plan for long distances between destinations. A single day of driving can cover vast landscapes without many stops. It is important to carry essentials, especially water, fuel, and warm clothing, because services can be far apart. Locals value respect for nature. Staying on trails, following wildlife guidelines, and minimizing environmental impact is essential. Budget-wise, Montana can be moderate to expensive in tourist hotspots, but affordable in rural areas. The biggest mistake visitors make is rushing. Montana is not meant to be seen quickly. It is meant to be experienced slowly. Montana stands at a crossroads. On one side, rapid population growth and rising tourism are reshaping cities like Bozeman and Missoula. Housing demand is increasing, infrastructure is expanding, and new industries are emerging. On the other side, there is a growing movement to preserve Montana's identity, its open land, quiet towns, and natural landscapes. Climate change is also reshaping the future. Glacier retreat, shifting weather patterns, and wildfire risks are becoming more significant challenges, yet Montana continues to adapt. Renewable energy projects, conservation efforts, and sustainable tourism are helping shape a future that tries to balance growth with preservation. The question is not whether Montana will change. It is how much of its wild spirit will remain. Montana is not a place that competes for attention. It does not need to. It waits quietly in the mountains, in the wind across the plains, in rivers that have been flowing long before modern maps were drawn. People come here searching for scenery. But what they often find is something deeper. A sense of space that clears the mind, a silence that feels alive, and a reminder that in a fast-moving world, there are still places that move at the rhythm of nature. When you leave Montana, you do not simply travel away from it. A part of it travels with you, because Montana is not just a destination. It is a memory shaped by mountains and a feeling that never fully fades. Montana is full of hidden stories and surprising truths. 1. It is larger than Japan in land area. 2. It has more cows than people. 3. Glacier National Park once had over 150 glaciers. Today, fewer remain due to climate change. 4. The state's name comes from the Spanish word for mountain. 5. Some towns have fewer than 100 residents. 6. The sky in Montana is so clear that stargazing is a major attraction. 7. The Battle of Little Bighorn took place here in 1876.8. Montana has one of the highest numbers of grizzly bears in the lower 48 states. 9. The Going to the Sun Road took over 20 years to complete. 10. It is one of the best places in the U.S. to see the Milky Way. 11. Huckleberries are so popular they are considered a cultural symbol. 12. Some highways stretch over 100 miles without a single town. 13. Montana has no sales tax. 14. It is one of the least densely populated states in America. 15. The Missouri River starts in Montana. 16. Yellowstone's geothermal activity is powered by a supervolcano beneath the region. 17. Some ranches are larger than small countries. 18. Montana was part of the Louisiana Purchase. 19. It has more mountain ranges than most U.S. states. 20. The state's wildlife includes wolves, elk, bison, and bald eagles. 21. The aurora borealis can occasionally be seen in northern Montana. 22. Some ghost towns from the gold rush still remain intact.